Hi there, Ischa here, and welcome to the Higher Life. So, in this episode, I am really unpacking a relationship that I think really gives us insight into the heart of feminine power. And this is the mother daughter relationship. The feminine is such an interesting and dynamic space to be exploring at this time in history. As a species, we're really moving into a new era of being in the world, and I call it the awake feminine. That is, we're very awake and alert and conscious of the power of the feminine and its capacity to create beautiful transformations in the world. And when I say the feminine, I'm not referring to people who are feminine. I really think that in this next era as human beings, we're going to wake up to this truth that we are not the creator of the whole reality. We are influencers and co-creators of our personal reality, and we have an inner resourcefulness that allows us to be very playful and dynamic with how our personal reality is experienced by us in each lifetime. But the idea that humans actually know or understand the process that they are in, as the larger process of being alive, there's always going to be a blind spot because we are a product of the source. So in a way, we're an extension of something and part of a larger group of life force that is an extension of something that we don't fully understand. But I do think that it is a feminine energy that we are all born out of. The reason I say this is if we look at the mother-daughter relationship and we really analyze what's going on there, this desire that a daughter really has with her mother to feel the love of her mother, to feel enveloped and to feel supported, while at the same time feeling that her mother embraces her individuality, supports her to be her own person and is really comfortable with an independent soul. That we are two souls with our own independence in terms of how we show up in the world, but we're a united system of feminine power. And I think there's always this dance going on in a mother-daughter relationship where we're testing this out with each other. We're trying to find what's our unique dance as this mother and daughter in this time in history. I know that I have that with my own daughter who, is her own soul, and we're both powerful energies and we kind of dance together. Sometimes our relationship can get very tense and very fiery. And, I'm naturally a more Virgo and earthy, practical person, and she's more of a Leo, wants to be in charge of herself and embrace her boldness. And when those two energies meet, they can synthesize and create this really powerful third entity, this power that is a beautiful emerging of those two energies, or they can get into like big conflict and resistance with each other and try to, I call it jiu-jitsu. My son did that for a while, and you're just kind of dancing and pressuring and tackling and really trying to find this new ground where the pearl emerges, where you've both sort of negotiated and pushed and resisted and given in and resisted again enough so that you get this new level of intimacy in your relationship. And a really powerful mother-daughter relationship, I think that it gets more and more intimate because feminine invites in intimacy. The feminine is really the space where we cultivate our natural capacity for intimacy with ourselves, with life, with others. It's such a curious, inviting, enveloping energy, the feminine, but it's bold. It has a warrior-like tendency to it. It has an individuality. It has a voice. There is a yang in the yin. There is a yang in the feminine. But, when we are without feminine, when we see the yang playing out on its own, there's a real barrenness, a harshness, an aggressiveness that plays out. And we see that in the world that we're living in right now, where there is a lot of yang energy. There's this beautiful feminine is simply being cancelled out. And we're really sort of celebrating and revering the results of a very yang or more fiery way of making things happen. In my field of human potential and transformation life coaching, the word manifestation gets used a lot, and people are seeking to manifest certain outcomes in their life. And you manifesting, it sort of has this magical feel to it, like you sort of make it happen. It kind of comes out of thin air. And, in a way, humans come out of thin air. I mean, you come out through your mother, but it just feels like you appear as a fully formed person with a personality. There's a certain magic to that, right? This, it's almost, even though scientifically we know how it happens, we still don't really know how it happens. So that feminine, it holds the space for so much that is unknown. And we just sort of trust in what it births. But the yang is a very different energy. It sort of comes in with a directive on this is what's going to happen, and this is how it's going to happen, and this is the time frame that it has to happen. And if we bring that energy into, say, a mother-daughter relationship, we start to see that dance, that melody that gets created between these two really powerful forces becomes really combative and almost barren and without intimacy and aggressive and empty. And there's a lot of despair that comes out of that. So when we step back into our femininity and grace and inner warrior-like way of being in the world, we kind of restore that holding space power that allows the yang to play out without so much forcefulness. It's really this kind of dance with life that has action, but that action takes place in a much larger energy space that is really flowing and spacious and energetic without being agenda driven. And what we will be seeing is humanity coming into a deep positive regard with letting life unfold, with letting human beings express themselves in a really creative and beautiful way without it having to generate any particular impact or result or financial reward. This is a new space that we are coming into, where the idea that people will make money from what they do may be very archaic and old-fashioned at some point. What we'll be seeing is that when we raise our vibration and we express ourselves from our true nature, when we allow our unique soul to be expressed creatively or practically or through our relationships, we raise the energetic vibration of the whole planet. And that will be probably what the currency will be in the future, which is, are you part of raising the vibrational energy, collective energy, or are you actually draining and feeding and vampiring off it? It'll be a very different way of seeing our contribution in the world and the way that we play out. I call this the empowered way, that we're really moving from what is known as an enmeshed state to an enlightened state. And that really comes down to how we use our energy and how we express into the world and what we believe we are doing it for. What's the agenda? In that enmeshed state, it's a very codependent situation. We give to get. We give to get, even in the philanthropic sense, we're still getting some sense of value of who we are through that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just sort of, we're coming to a ceiling, to an end phase, with that being the way that we will engage and use our creative energy. It won't be hijacked anymore by a certain results-driven model. Where we'll be ending up in is where we actually express ourselves creatively through our voices, through our hands, through whatever means we have available. The unique essence of our soul gets expressed outwards, and it kind of fuels or feeds into this collective energy state that we all are, lifting it up so that eventually it's a kind of very illuminated and enlightened state. Now, this is really looking at it at a very top level way. I dive really deep into this pathway of empowerment, where we're transforming the way we use our creative energy through my course, The Empowered Way. But I will also be really exploring this through a podcast called The Empowered Way, because I'd love to be able to unpack this and explore it and experiment with it in real time. I love doing that because I feel like it really opens up new insights for me. So that's something that I'm really going to be moving into in the next few months. Obviously, stay tuned if you really like the insights that are coming through this work. I really find that when I just sit with an idea, contemplate it, and then speak to it in real time without thinking about it, I just get these amazing insights into what this contemplation is revealing to me. Often I don't really know what it is that I'm even saying until I look at the video later. It's kind of a raw, um, pure way, I feel, of exploring what it is to be alive, to be a human being in this time in history. It's such an exciting time to be alive. We really want to be moving into this era of enthusiasm. It's been dark times for humans in lots of ways, and we're very addicted to conflict and violence and misery and feeling defeated and powerlessness. But it's really not our true state. It's just a game that we're playing. It's a mindset. It's this enmeshed mindset playing out in our personal lives. And there is a way to be liberated from living this way. And it's really to tap back in to our true nature and to understand the way the universe really works. There is this opportunity and possibility for every single human being to experience their highest inner expression of creative self. It doesn't mean that you have to be a superstar. To me, nurses are superstars, people who go every day into the hospital and show up and care for people, usually underpaid and overworked, but the ones that just give themselves to the job by still holding their own integrity. I just think there's so much to be revered in the jobs that we often overlook in this world, especially in this current world of celebritism and making big money and wanting to be wealthy and influential. It's a really powerful space to consider what does the highest potential of a person who's living a really ordinary life look and feel like. What an exciting thing. I love the idea that in our ordinary lives we can live a very enriched and empowered experience. I love those small moments with my daughter and my kids and my husband where it can be really tough and it can be tedious and it can be confronting, but there's this devotion to wanting to find the dance and to find new dances all the time with these people that I have this real level of intimacy with. Relationships are the language of human beings. We learn so much about our true nature by being really honest and open and courageous in our relationships. I was going to say creative as well, so I add that in there. It is what we are born to do, to receive, to relate, to love and be loved, to express our unique self and soul into this world. That is all we need to know to live a truly authentic and happy life. So if this message feels important to you, if you feel like you resonate with what I'm revealing here and what I'm exploring, absolutely check out the Higher Life Academy. I really feel we have a gap in our education. We're not really equipped to live life at this level of vibration, and I'd really like to close that gap. I do lots of free videos at Higher Life TV, free teachings, or mini ones at Instagram. I just love creating this content and putting it out there. So there's lots of different ways that you can engage for free, or if you'd like to do this work with me as your guide, I have very, very affordable guided courses at Higher Life Academy. So until next time, take care and love life.